Hi guys, Asmo here, and today I'm gonna talk about the Detonate Dead Poison Cast on Crit Assassin, which is kind of a weird build that I made. I decided to do some memes and experiment and try to make one of the weirder alternative quality gems work, and that is the Anomalous Detonate Dead, which allows you to convert some of the fire damage into chaos damage. You can only convert 60% at 20% quality. You could of course increase the quality, and that would allow you to do even more. You need like 15% more quality or 16% more quality to convert 100% of it, or you can use something like Consuming Dark. So Consuming Dark for us, for this Anomalous Detonate Dead, gives us plus to the level of the gem, so plus to the level of all fire spell skill gems, and this is a fire spell skill, so this gets plus 2 to the levels as well. Then we are getting increased fire damage, which does scale the explosion. Even though we are converting all of that to chaos, it still scales that. And then we've got the rest of the fire damage converted to chaos, and also chance for our chaos damage to poison enemies, which goes to 100%, plus some intellect, which helps us since we're playing CI. So 2 of these gives us 100% conversion to chaos, 100% chance to poison, increased fire damage, like 120 increase fire damage, increased global crit because we're going to be playing cast on crit, and on top of that also we've got the chance to poison plus the level of the skill gems. We are also dual wielding, so we can cyclone faster. This is important because we can take advantage of more triggers per second, and I'll talk about that later as well. We are using for the chest piece, you want like something like a hunter influence Val Regalia that has attacks have plus to critical strike chance in order to get your cyclone to crit 100% of the time much easier. And on top of that you get just some energy shield and maybe physical damage from hits taken as chaos damage. That's a very good mod as well because we're a CI, so that's basically 10% less physical damage taken. So that's the chest piece. We talked about the weapons. For the helmet, you want to use Venomous Toxins. This is by far the best helmet. 140% increased damage with poison right now at max power charges. It's absolutely insane. And then twice as fast aspect of the spider application. That also helps a lot. Plus also chaos damage to spells and a decent ES on top of that. I tried to POB how would a Hubris Circlet with -9 to chaos res to nearby enemies and also +1 power charge perform compared to this, and this was a much better pick according to POB for all the poison damage. Then next is Owl's Uprising. So Owl's Uprising gives us free Malevolence, so we can reserve Malevolence without spending any mana on that. And then on top of that we get 24% increased maximum energy shield if we're using the quality catalyst, and on top of that 50% crit chance to nearby enemies, and pretty much everything is nearby when we have a like pretty tiny cyclone AoE, right? So that's another great piece of gear. Beyond those, you want cooldown reduction, so we have cooldown reduction coming from Awakened Cast on Crit, that's 22%. We have cooldown reduction coming from Belt, that's another like 15, and Boots 15, that gives us 52%, which means we go past the breakpoint where we can hit up to maximum 11 times per second, and if we are using Onslaught we are still not even there, even with the Val Val Heist, if I'm using that, still not there. Even with Blood Rage, still not there. So this build would require way more attack speed, whether from like passive skill tree or from gear, in order to reach its potential in terms of damage. So I could be getting twice as much damage, or I could just drop the cooldown reduction, but I could get twice as much damage out of this if I got more attack speed. So the damage potential is really high for this build. For the belt, I basically crafted like as much ES as I can with some resist and cooldown recovery rate. In order to craft this belt, I just spammed dense fossils until I got something with cooldown recovery rate on a base that is is it Crusader? I think it's called Crusader, right? So Crusader influenced Crystal Belt, just spam dense fossils to get the ES, and eventually you're gonna get ES with cooldown recovery rate, and then you're good. Other than that, we have gloves and boots that gives us like stun immunity, because we're using this amulet. I made a video about stun immunity. Previous video explains this exactly, why we're going for these items. But we've got boots that have Elder mod on them, that is 30 to 35% chance to avoid being stunned. Then we've got synthesized gloves, that is 15% chance to avoid being stunned, and then 25 crafted on it, and that gives us what? This is 40, this is 70, and then we've got three jewels like that have enchant on them, 10% chance to avoid being stunned. That gives us also like chaos damage, crit chance, damage with poison, or here we have like damage over time, maximum energy shield, and then ES gained for each enemy hit by the attacks, which also adds to this Watcher's Eye that also gives me like ES recovery on each enemy hit by my skills. So when I cyclone, I'm just healing the ES all the time on hit. So that's the boots. They also have Can't Be Frozen and the cooldown recovery. I crafted them as well with basically you get the cooldown on Shaper, you get the chance to avoid on Elder, you slam them together. They're both suffixes, so if you don't have another suffix, you do suffixes cannot be changed, scour, and you multi-craft on that. Very easy to craft as well. And then we've got rings that have basically crit, ES, and resistances, right? That's what we want. We want crit, ES, and resistances on both of them, and that evens out our resistances. For flasks, you want to use like Witchfire Brew, the Urn, Coralito, because we definitely want to use Perfect Agony because we got a lot of crit and crit multi, and then probably like Quartz Flask with bleed removal, which I should put on it but I didn't, and then also Alchemist Quicksilver of Adrenaline is something that I definitely recommend unless you're doing the abusing the Poison Sextant. So that's the gear for this build that you need to acquire if you want to play like this version of this build. Then in terms of the passive skill tree, it's also pretty straightforward, but it's a very interesting skill tree. Basically, we are getting crit, we're getting these things like Dire Torment, damage over time multiplier for ailments from critical strikes because we crit all the time, and also 40% critical strike chance. So this is like 20% dot multi and crit strike chance. Similar thing we get on Hemorrhage on all these mediums. Instead of this Watcher's Eye, or instead of the Golden Rule, if you're not abusing the Poison Sextants, what you can use is something like this, small passive clusters with Energy Shield. You can get like Energy Shield, Res, Int, and you can get Vile Reinvigoration, which gives you damage over time, and Max ES, as well as a Regen, which helps in maps. You get a lot of Regen on ES while you are mapping, while you're killing monsters. And on these mediums, you want Hemorrhage and Vile Reinvigoration as well. So double Vile Reinvigoration and Hemorrhage, or whatever good jewel that you're running, like Watcher's Eye or something else. We're CI, we're picking up all the power charge nodes, we're picking up some AoE, ES, the power charge nodes as well here, and that's basically it. That's basically the entire tree. Other than that, we're only going down for like the accuracy, because without this we wouldn't have 100% accuracy, and we're also anointing Eagle's Eye for now, accuracy, crit, and flat accuracy. With better gear you wouldn't need that, and you would instead anoint Swift Venoms for dot multi, attack speed, and damage with poison, and poisons inflict damage faster. This is by far the best one to anoint, but if you don't reach 100% accuracy, then you don't have 100% crit, and then you lose a lot of damage because of that. So accuracy and crit is the priority, so you want to make sure that you reach 100%, and you can check in POB that this is like indeed counting. You can like edit this item in POB and delete the nearby enemies part, just have it have like 50% increased critical strike chance to see how your crit looks like against nearby enemies, and that will show you what your actual crit is. Also on the passive skill tree, one very interesting node that works is the Undertaker. So corpses you spawn have 15% increased maximum life. So let me actually talk about that, right? This is the important part as well if you want to scale this damage. And this is why this build is a little bit annoying to play if you want to maximize the damage, because you can increase the damage by a lot, but it's a bit annoying. But I'll show you how to do it. So when you do Desecrate, let me take this out. Let me put Desecrate here, okay? When you put Desecrate, it will spawn whatever monsters normally belong to that zone, and in here is like Bone Starter, whatever, some skeletons, but if you are in a specific zone, it will spawn whatever monsters belong to that zone. However, you can also introduce spectres to the zone. If you load into the zone with spectres, doesn't matter if they die there or not, they can die right away after they enter, but if they died in that instance, their corpses will be added to the pool. And then the more different types of spectres you have, the more likely you are to get these spectres in the Desecrate. So let me explain what I mean. Normally you can summon 2 spectres, and if you get the mod on the boots or you get the spectres to level 25, which is very difficult because you'd have to have like you'd have to do extra source somewhere, because I have Empower here. If I had Empower, I guess if I had Empower level 4, that would be +3. Raise Spectre level 21, that would be like 24, so I would still need one more level. I would need extra level somewhere from some kind of an item to the Raise Spectre, or I would have to have mod on the boots, and it is possible. It's a suffix on Elder, so on these boots I could have +1 extra Spectre, and then I could have 3 Spectres. And with 3 Spectres you can summon 3 different Spectres, because if you have 3 of the same, then the chance to summon it is lower than you have 2 different ones or 3 different ones. So the more different Spectres you have, the higher chance to summon the corpse of the actual Spectre rather than the monster from the zone. And then to get the Spectres, I made a Spectre bank. I made one of my characters into a Spectre bank that will automatically... Actually, I can't open a map on this character, so I need to... Okay, here's what you do, okay? Here's what you do. In order to have like Spectres stored, specific ones, and not have to go into the zone, what you do is you open a map first into your hideout so that the instance stays. Okay, so this actually we have a map open. All right, we have a map open, so this instance will stay when we go on the other character. And then easy way to make a bank, Spectre bank, is to make like a PvP only character, a witch, and then you make sure that you spec this thing, Death Attunement, that will give you +1 to Spectres. And then as you can see, I have these Spectres here. So this is, what are they called? One of them is called, what is it? Sandworn Slaves. That's this like the cage thing. And then the other one is Enhanced Val Fallen. They have very, very high base pool of health. And now we spawn them here. So now we can log back to the other character. Now we have their corpses in the hideout. So we can go back to the hideout. And we can summon them. And now you can see that I have the Sandworn Slaves here. And I can summon this. And then where's the Val Fallen? Let's do a couple of other ones. Enhanced Val Fallen. Okay, we summon that. And now we have more damage, right? So if I put another map, let's put whatever, random T16. If we put random T16 in, our damage will be actually higher. But the problem is that after you complete the map, the Spectres will be probably dead. So let's put this back in. The Spectres will be probably dead. So we do much more damage that way, like significantly more damage. Let's go to the boss maybe. Like how much damage we do to these guys. Yeah, this is definitely much more damage. So it's definitely worth doing, but you kind of have to do it before every map if they die. You know, if your Spectres die, you actually have to do it before every map. And because we're not a summoner, we're not supporting them with any support gems, because of that, we're not really making them very, very tanky, right? Let's see. Okay, where is the boss? And he's dead because of the poisons. He has like so many poisons, like hundreds of poisons on him. So this is definitely more damage, but if they die in your map and you go back into your hideout, you want to do another map, you want to make sure that they're alive when you zone into the next map. So that's kind of the issue with this, right? So as you can see, T16 maps are very, very easy on this character. It's not the tankiest character. You could get more ES on this, you could get some more defenses on this, But it's a very funny meme, and I wanted to check if this thing will even work, if this is even possible to do. And turns out you can actually detonate giant corpses and they give you poisons that stack. If you manage to make this build and manage to like get some good gear with like more attack speed, maybe get like more attack speed from a Flask or from passives, have higher level, because I'm only like 93, so you could have like 5 more levels, and grab some more attack speed, then this character can be pretty strong actually. Also, I'm using even faster attacks here, and instead of that, what you should be using for maximum damage, like huge multiplier, is Awaken Deadly Ailments. Either Awaken Deadly Ailments or Awaken Unbound Ailments if you cannot get 6 green sockets in your chest. So Awaken Unbound Ailments gives you much bigger multiplier, same with like Deadly Ailments, so you can actually poison even stronger. It's gonna have, if you somehow manage to like reach the cap of the attack speed, then you're gonna be doing insane damage. Like the cap for the attack speed is 11 triggers per second, so like 11 attacks per second. 11 point, I don't remember what, but you better not exceed that, right? But like 11 attacks per second, 11 triggers per second is what you can have. It's a crazy kind of a build, and I thought I'd share that with anyone who wants to play something weird this league. If you have currency that you can spend, keep in mind that you might have to craft the gear, because it's like nobody has these things. Like nobody will sell you like a Val Regalia with all green sockets that has +2 crit to attacks and then like fizz damage taken as scales on it and a lot of ES. Like nobody's playing that. Or like boots that have chance to avoid being stunned but also cooldown reduction, but also +1 to spectres. Like nobody's gonna do that. The +1 to spectres would be crazy because it's like delve only mode, right? I think, or maybe the chest is delve only. You could get +1 to spectres on chest as well. With 4 different spectres, you get like a crazy amount of damage. You get like 70% more damage or something like that. So that's it. Thank you guys for watching. You can catch my stream on Twitch TV /Asmodeus stream. Thank you for watching and see you next time.